Shot for goal, shot for goal, shot for goal, shot for goal! Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you might be tuning in from. Thank you so much for joining us once again here on Shot for Goal. I'm your host, Stefan Rapazzo. Walczak, welcome to the show, Levke. How are you today?
Hello, very good to see you too. I'm doing well. I did just have a really nice bike ride home from work and feeling energized for this interview, which nice. I just found out was live. Hello, right, everyone.
We're pulling the wool over Levke's eyes, so she didn't know it was live till about 30 seconds ago, but a good sport on the field and behind the screen as well. Levke, you've had a heck of a season. You've been bouncing around as you tend to do. You kind of show up in different divisions in different countries with different teams. It seems like something you do well. And most recently, you've landed in Japan playing with an Australian team, and you got a heck of a win. We're going to show right before we get into a handful of questions. We're going to show the way that one ended. We'll get your reaction after it, but run that clip for us, Grabco. And
here we go. Callahan country. Oh, and there it goes, O'Callaghan! Ellipsis wins the tournament. Defense wins championships. Ellipsis wins gold! An amazing finish!
And Ellipsis, aren't they excited to bring home the gold medal? That was Egan Griffiths there, who snuck in front. What a way to win this gold medal.
Okay, so first of all, what a way to end a tournament. You were just saying off air that you were wearing Egan Griffiths' jersey for the tournament. Okay, first of all, give us your reaction. Like, how was that as an end to a tournament? Ellipsis did really well. I think went undefeated. Correct me if I'm wrong. Throughout the tournament, that was a very tight one, 2-point difference. But to end it on that on a Callahan like that, talk about reaction from that. I don't know if I've ever seen that.
It was just a cherry on top. It was just like a very wholesome weekend. I think it was very healing for me as a player, and I think also like for all the players that play at World Games the week or 2 weeks just before, 3 weeks just before, and I think just as like the full. For me individually, or for me personally, as the experience overseas in playing in the Asian and Oceanic community, and then getting that kind of final game and that kind of finish, it was just, I don't know, it's like a dream.
It seemed very dreamy. I saw the highlight first as a clip before I realized that it was a game winner. And I was like, okay, that's pretty awesome. I know George Egan Griffiths from my time in Australia, and of course seeing her grow into an elite player. So I was like, oh, that's cool. And then like I kind of put the pieces together. I was like, that is a tournament winning point. So it's pretty wild even as a spectator, I think. So it must have been amazing on the grounds there. How did you end up with Ellipsis? I mean, you've just touched on the fact that World Games was 3 weeks before, but was it that close of a connection?
No. I think you played a role in that, actually, Steph. I think first time Cat Phillips and I, we had the idea of playing together was through Super Team in 2023, or what was it?
Yeah,
2020.
Windmill, yep.
Windmill, exactly.
But then her and you were two of the first on board, unfortunately.
Maybe, but then Cat Phillips canceled and dropped out. So I think ever since we're kind of like looking for something or some kind of tournament we could play together. So early in the year, she asked me if I was interested in playing with Ellipsis, and I was like, very interested, but I have no idea how to make it happen. Actually, first Cat was like, hey, do you want to play AUC with us the weekend after World Games? I was like, sick, I'm in. It's like right there. But then she was like, actually, it's like 3 weeks after. And I was like, well, that's kind of unfortunate. I can't take that much time off. But in the end, I don't know. I talked to my boss and somehow I managed. And I went there and I had the best time, really.
Go ahead, Noah.
Levke, I've seen some clips coming out of AOUC with some of the conditions there, the water, the rainfall. Tell me about how much of that you experienced. You obviously experienced the heat at the World Games. This looked like a completely different tournament experience, though. Tell us about that.
I mean, it was both. It was like there was some extreme heat, too, in Japan, and especially extreme heat that was like where everything around it was like not as well prepared as World Games. I mean, World Games was extremely hot, but also we had a tent right next to the fields. We had an AC in the tent. We had so much water. We had like people that were in charge of giving water to the players, etc. And now there was like some extreme heat, and like it was a little bit more like the water was out where the bathrooms were, and the bathrooms were like very far away. So sometimes like we ran out of water bottles, of like water with water bottles. Anyways, that was one thing. But then there was 1 day or 2 days where we played in like heavy rainfall in typhoon-like conditions. And I think there was at least one game that we played in like ankle-height water. And I think that was like probably the most fun game of Ultimate I've ever played. It was like stupidly fun, but it was a really, really good experience. Like just for that game alone, it was worth it to go all the way.
Wow. I imagine everybody's played a game like that in their life, but probably like a pickup game or something like that. But to be playing on a world stage in ankle deep, I saw, again, a lot of clips of the belly flops and team layouts and like gameplay in ridiculous conditions there. So you spent 3 weeks in Asia. What did you do in between Chengdu and going to Japan?
I wish that was the case. Unfortunately, it wasn't. I went back and forth.
You did go back to Germany. Okay.
Yes, I had to work in between. And yeah, didn't make that happen. I actually almost did not manage to actually go to Asia. It was again, for AUC because there were some passport problems.
Okay.
But
happy you worked those out then. Sorry, I thought I heard that differently. Anyways, let's move over to World Games now. That's probably the pinnacle of the season. I know everybody. It had a lot of spectatorship, a lot of media attention. Germany went well. You guys won the 2 games you needed to win against Japan and China. You went up against USA once again, as you did in Birmingham. Birmingham, you got that big win. This time, it was probably the best scare that the USA had. You guys fell short in that one, but I guess talk a little bit about that game. After knowing that Germany had the potential to beat the US, it's happened before, kind of having them on the ropes. Talk about that game and the end result.
I think first thing I want to talk about the first game that we had against China. I think after that game, we all felt like a little bit more low because we didn't quite play the way that we wanted to. But then for the US, I think it was good because playing against the US, there's always like this like very high horse that you want to beat. But there's not a lot of pressure when you play against the US because you can really pretty much only win. And I think that helped us to like get a really, really good game. And I think we generally are a team that we're like really adaptive. And I think that helped us in the US game. Yeah. And then what was really fun in that US game is how Ian French is a coach that is really all about being flexible. And having like more flexible O&D lines or maybe not be O&D lines at all. And I think in the beginning of the game, we got broken a couple times by the US and completely changed the O-line, like basically completely changed our whole system. And then we just ran with it. And I think we're all just like very proud and like happy to see that what we've worked for all season kind of came to, like, worked in that game and worked in the end. We didn't win, but it worked.
Noah?
Yeah, I mean, and then talk about, you might have expected when you looked at your schedule that you'd be playing Japan on the game to go. It's not like a game against the US there, the pressure's on, but in the end, I think you dealt with them really well. It wasn't that close a game, so talk about that. How rewarding was it to get through to the semifinals?
Yeah, of course, that was like, I can't even, it's so hard to describe. Like, big tournaments, the bigger the tournaments, I feel like the bigger the emotions, and the, like, combination of both relief and pride, and, like, being happy for the other tournament teammates, with the other teammates, seeing them perform on the field, maybe having, like, a couple of situations where you were proud of yourself and your performance, and then the crowd and, like, the professionalism of the entire World Games that just, like, combines to such a great experience. And yeah, it was really that moment after Japan. It's like, you know that you're not there, but for a moment you feel unbeatable, and for a moment you just feel, like, very fulfilled and happy.
Awesome. Your team was, a lot of standout players. I saw the best 25 in the World Games. Konrad Schlor right at the top. He was awesome. But your whole, from Ian French to Herkins to Avamula, I thought there were so many great performances on your side. But globally speaking, when you wrap this thing up, you take your experience home. You finish fourth once more. You kind of get to, which I have said many times, toughest position to finish in a tournament. You go into the semis with these hopes, and you did have to end it on 2 losses to a very tough Canadian team, and then taking on a fellow European team there in France. At the end of World Games, takeaway for Germany. What is the overall feeling? Is it of satisfaction? Was there something left? Certainly, maybe not to give, but maybe that you maybe wish could have been achieved, or how do you sum it up?
Yeah, of course. Like, parts of me, and I think part of the team, is, like, really sat and wished and hoped to have that medal in our hands. And I think that wish was, like, really so close to us that it really hurt to have it taken away from us. And I also think if we would have gotten a medal, I think everyone's, also speaking of myself, everyone's, like, errors and mistakes get a little bit less intense and, like, less haunting. Whereas when it's the 4th place, I think there's so much more questioning yourself and questioning the team and just, like, questioning in general. And I think those are, like, very hard reflections on yourself and on the team. And I think everyone is obviously working with that a little bit. I myself, but I've also talked to other teammates who have had similar struggles. So yeah, I think a medal would have potentially changed that, and maybe would have made the experience feel a little different in total. But also, I hope and sometimes wish that an experience is not just shaped by the end result, because we've had such a good time as a team, and I think we've made such great experiences. We had such intense emotions and really, really good and growing connections. Lots of love and stuff. So
that is at the end of the day the most important, the love, for sure. But yeah, Noah, did you have a question there?
Yeah, I was just obviously a tricky way to finish the tournament, like complicated emotions. How does it affect how you feel about the World Games 2029? Looking ahead to that, like it's tricky. It's even further away than the last World Games. It kind of felt like it was a short little gap just between 2022 and 2025. It's a long way to go, but there's also lots of youth talent on that team. Lots of players who played on the U24 teams in 2023 who came through and had amazing performances, like Lisa Schutz and Avan Müller and Niels Julius Sontag. So this team could be really good in 2029. Do you think you plan to stick around and keep trying to be in charge and one of the best players in the world?
What do you think? I don't know. I'm like, I can't no to this well. Like, I can't leave this well yet. I'm not going to. I'm hungry, and it's just really exciting because it is going to happen in Germany, which means we're already qualified, or we don't have to play qualification. We can have like a really intense, big preparation, maybe even have parts of WUC or like the World Championships be part of that project. So I'm dreaming big.
Yeah.
I would expect nothing less of you, Levke. We're going to go into rapid fire questions now because I know you got to get out of here. You got a soccer game to get yourself to. But let's go through your season a little bit. You've had a whole handful of wins. I think I blew it out of proportion in the last show and said more than it actually has been. But tournament wins. Copatanga, Paganello, played with this crazy team Bling. I got to be a part of that as well. Tell us about your Bling experience. How was that wild team?
So wild. It was so Bling. It was so extraordinary, extravagant. No, it was just a lovely combination of people. Really, really good ultimate players, but then we also like connecting off the field in a way that maybe you wouldn't think is possible in that short period of time. And I've definitely learned and probably even grown in that week together. Yeah.
Well summed up indeed. EBUCC, you went to Poland with Jinx. You got a tournament win there. I think you and Nikki Priyan had I loved the statistic, the greatest connection statistic in that tournament. But beyond that, you two, that is your third EBUCC. You won it with Seagulls with Nikki. You won it with Margarita Mixed and Royan. And then you've won it again now. Talk about that. It's particularly playing with Jinx, who you will not be going to EUCF with. So can you talk about that and then segue into kind of missing a grass season?
It was lovely, especially because like I'm a little bit heartbroken that I won't get to play EUCF with them. I support, like I've asked them and I wanted to play EUCF with them, but I had so many tournaments this year that I couldn't really do any preparation stuff with them. So I very much value and support their decision to support the more local players. But I am selfishly a little bit heartbroken and would have loved to play with Jinx once more. So it was really lovely and nice to get to play this EBUCC tournament that just kind of like felt like vacation with friends. And luckily there was also some Frisbee involved.
That's a good way of summing that up too. You guys had I had the pleasure of joining Jinx on their celebration evening, or for some of the evening. I know that I can attest that Jinx definitely know how to celebrate. So yeah, well summed up. So in missing UCF, obviously you said you've got other priorities and other choices this year that you took. You've been playing in the US for a few years in a row now with Brute Squad. You were over for US Open even before World Games. I loved to see that, by the way. Fury have been dominant this year over there, but you guys got to still have expectations. But to talk about going into US Nationals and mindset and mentality with the Brute Squad.
Well, Fury's always dominant in pre-tournament. And I think Brute Squad, for example, is more of a team where there's like, it all kind of comes together in the end. And there's lots of like a big focus on development in the first or like in middle part of the season. And then in the end, it can look a little bit different still from what we've like seen or played. in mid-season. And I always have a good feeling, but I have a good feeling, you know?
I wanted to ask, you've played for so many different teams and so many different continents this year. We also played in the open division of Hardfish. How does it feel to be kind of growing a reputation as Ultimate's strongest mercenary, of just going everywhere and winning the best tournaments in the world? And is there any tournaments you want to call out that you're targeting as new ventures?
There are, I think I haven't really had a bucket list, but maybe there's a bucket list emerging now, and maybe there'll be another boomer this year. We'll see.
Okay, so even something before this year is up. I mean, I get a feeling you're talking WBUCs. I have looked at the roster. I know there's a German mixed team with your name on it. So we will expect nothing short of chasing greatness for a whole lot of time out of you, Levke. And we'll be here to watch it, stream it, and take it all in as you go. But I think we have got to our half hour. I know you got to get yourself out the door. So I want to thank you very much for coming on to join us. Any shout outs, any last words you got before you get off and running?
Maybe if you would have prepared me for this, but I don't know. I had so much fun on Ellipsis off the field too, by the way. We were talking mostly on the field, I think, but this team is special. That's all.
Awesome. Well, we had about 10 topics. I told you we had to jam it all into 30 minutes. So we tried to squeeze as much out of you as possible in that time. Levke Walczak, absolute legend. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. Good luck along the way.
Goodbye. Thank you for letting me join you. Till next time.
See you then.
Bye.
Kozowski from the center of his own end zone, setting up the play. Pasha. Oh, nice dish. Pasha straight into the end zone. And it's a catch. Amazing throw. Masha Pasha with the assist. 40-meter dish. Straight up in the end zone for the great catch. Double-handed pancake. Now Andrei serving Pasha inside the center of the pitch. And Pasha just... Oh! Breaking the mark for David Moser. That skies up high against Merlini. May as well be a father and son challenge, this one. Didn't quite get it to Sorgente. Too covered up. Oh, huge poach. Oh!
Rocco Sorgente.
Incredible catch by Rocco Sorgente. Oh.
Big
forehand
hack.
Krasovsky is in the end zone.
Great hack
ready
from Pacha.
to get that pancake catch.
Quartieri with the disc for Martelli.
Martelli sending it in the end zone, ready to score. And Dal Pozzo puts the signature on this game. And CP, Imola CP, is the winner of this Burla 2025 Open Division. What a game by these kids. Steady, connected, focused, energetic from the first point throughout the whole game. Got the best of the OGs and the talent of Alien Friends.
And kind of Portugal kind of came out of nowhere. Steph, what was that call on the line on the far side? That just looked out to me. No, it was like it was.
It seemed a iffy call. Noah does not like sideline out calls, by the way. If I need to take you back a couple episodes to remind you about that one. But Kenya Portici, I did say I gave them the outside chance. I'd seen them play at the EUCR back in 2018 in Bologna. I love their logo and their, the name of their team is Pig Dog, which is like a reverse grip on your stance on a surfboard. So it's a pretty it's an awesome name. But they were dominant. I will be keeping Rocco Sorgente on my radar to see if I can work out why he is not on an Italian team, or why La Fotas or teams like that, or Costa Ricas are not picking up a guy who can go out onto the beach and do that. Or is he an Italian beach specialist and that's his jam? I want to find out more, that's for sure. But good luck in the open division. Mixed division, no. We had some national teams lining up.
We did, and to be honest, it looked pretty dominant from the Swiss team. They came in number 1 seed. In their semi-final, they won 13-2. In their final, they won 13-4. So I think outclassed the division here. It's a shame to say, but that stands them in good stead for the World Beach Ultimate Championships in November.
Yeah, it really does. They played a Masters team in the final, and just that alone is like, of course, that's a team you're going to want to beat. They're going to want to beat the Austrian open age team in a mixed final. They're going to take, if they're older brothers and fathers and sisters and mothers are making the final, they're going to want to wipe the floor with them, and they did. Absolutely. For that Swiss team, you and I were at Swiss Grass Nationals the weekend before. A lot of the same faces from ZU Mixed were having big impact. MVPs was FMP came from ZU Mixed. Erika Lastufka, who we had on the Elite 8 team and probably was MVP of the grass final. Gino Negri, one of the Scorillas, put on a better jersey. He put on a Frisky shirt, actually, is what he was wearing in the final, Sydney Mixed Club. He got the MMP MVP, but a handful of players that we saw shine in Lausanne the week before. You talk about Stoller, you talk about Negri, you talk about Emily Kai. The list goes on of those players that were shining on the grass that just really transferred over to the sand and dominated. And I am interested. Do I think that they are now turning into favorites for WBUC to medal? Probably no. They're probably still outside of that. But they are a team that will have great spoiler potential. I'd say that they're a team that can definitely get themselves into a quarterfinal and then see where their luck can take them.
You know what, Steph? I like that this team is the marriage of the crazy fun team and the super serious team. The big Zurich names of Zurich team, I think, took that final very, very seriously, and a Scorillas team who take themselves not very seriously at all. So it's great that they can come together and perform really well, get themselves ready for the World Beach Championships.
Yeah, WBUC, we'll be breaking that down for sure in a few weeks' time. We've got enough Ultimate in front of us that we don't need to jump the gun to get into that one. But yeah, great run at Burla. If that's not on your list, make sure it gets onto your list soon for a tournament to go. Take your team. There was national teams there, some masters, some open-aged, and by all accounts, just an incredible tournament. So make sure you're locked on for the next edition. You know what?
You might even have ULTI.TV there.
Yeah, I'll almost certainly be back. We're pretty happy with the rapport and relationship that we had with the management there. I thought the guys that went down did a great job streaming, troubleshooting, bringing internet and live streaming to a fairly remote part of the world. It's in Italy near Pisa, but it's at the very end of a beach, and things are a bit difficult to get going. And well done to the ULTI.TV crew that went. Spirit, just to finish things off, One Wise Tribe, so the old One Tribe, essentially, tied with Cavaliers for the Spirit Prize, with 15 on the, and the Spirit team, no surprise here, Noah, they always give the Spirit Prize to the team with the worst jerseys, don't they?
Who is it, Steph? Who is it?
Tell us, Noah. You know who it is.
Is it the Scarillas?
Scarillas did win Spirit, so good on them. I can say as well, Zigolo, the team from Côte d'Azur, where I'm from, won the party, and there was a specific Mohawk trophy that was a punk rock Mohawk trophy that was given to Zigolo, a team, the Ziggles as they're called, Les Zigles, but when they go to Italy, they're Zigolo. Yeah, otherwise, mixed Swiss, Austria, Raptors get the bronze. I won't run the whole way down, but in open it was Kanye Porci, Elia and friends in the final, and Pyramid Boomplitz, a Bern Swiss team that got the bronze medal there.
Not the only Frisbee we had on ULTI.TV this weekend, though, Steph. We also had some Frisbee from the Southern Hemisphere, the Victorian Mixed Ultimate Championships. Steph, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a qualifier event for the Australian Mixed Ultimate Championships.
I will not correct you because you're not wrong.
Wonderful. And we had a whole bunch of games there. We didn't have the final, though. So the final teams decided to forfeit because they wanted to save themselves for the Australian Mixed Championships. We got the bronze medal happen instead. But Steph, tell us about the Victorian Mixed Championships.
Yeah, VMUC is a tournament that, I once played it in a couple of VMUCs. I qualified through that en route to a AMUC championship back in the day in 2013 and 14 with Supernova and then Big Show. But yeah, in the end, the big game ended up being the bronze medal game. It was Southern Hills. Where did we go? How many links do I got open here? Who ended up taking it over? Now let me just get this up here. Sorry about this. Southern Hills.
Over Oblivion.
On Universe Point, it was 13-13, game to 14. Great game, a little come from behind. Rob Andrews jumped on the mic because his team had already qualified. And we're in. The second place team would have been a Chile team, and I guess they knew they couldn't go. So they decided to just, forego the occasion, not play, not get in the way, and let it be, instead of having to be stripped and re-awarded the spot, they just forfeited before being awarded the spot, let the bronze medal game go. They moved that to the showcase pitch, and it ended up being a great showcase to end the tournament on.
So how many bids did this Victorian Mixed Championships?
Now that's a good question, but I would have thought more than two. Like Victoria and New South Wales tend to get the lion's share of bids based on population, based on how many people are playing.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see clubs there are. So, but assuming it's a 16-team tournament, AMUC, and not because I think there's a mixed ultimate championship second division. Let us know in the comments and chats if this is inaccurate at all. But they tend to get 3 or 4 a piece and end up taking up about half of it, and then Queensland, Southern Australia, Western Australia get 1 or 2 each. And then Tasmania will get 1, and the territories might get 1, but that should round it out.
So the team who ended up winning via the forfeit, this Half Moon team, I mean, this has got a bunch of strong players that you'd know, Steph. Wesley Struman led the assist, Kat Phillips, Anna Rosler, Caro Marr, Bill Foreman, Reagan Turner, Rob Andrews, Dorothy Lee, to name a few. And they only
what's
had
that team called?
This is Half Moon.
Half Moon. So they are. It's like kind of the upper echelon of Ellipsis mixed, and they're
not play on Ellipsis, the Half Moon,
yes.
And they only had 13 players. So I'm guessing.
Literary exclamation. What do you call like a literary piece of literary punctuation? A piece of punctuation? Because I know like they used to be ellipsis ampersand and ellipsis. They've had all these other punctuation pieces. So anyways, special punctuation characters. Anyhow, let's get out of VMUC and let that fill up in the chats and comments. If you want to know more, we'll have to get our special guest, John Greenfield, to fill in the blanks. We'll be seeing him next week in Sardinia. He will be there for WGGMBUCC, the greatest and or worst acronym in sports, depends on how you want to break it down. It is a mouthful. World Great Grandmasters Beach Ultimate Club Championship. You and I will be there. It's happening the same time as
so have you seen the website?
UCF. Yes. I'm on the website.
The first line is, yeah, it's a mouthful.
Yes, yeah. And it is. But you and I were both there last year as well, and it was a banger. For me, I really, really love it because these are my peers. I'm a year away from being Great Grandmaster's age. These are people that I've seen being awesome for years and years. I get to meet Andrew Lugston at the first one I went to, which was in Sardinia 2 years ago when he won it with Notsuo. I met Peter Nia, the brains behind Bling at WGGMBUCC in Sardinia that year too. Last year, the fireworks of Greg Husak in that semifinal when Notsuo were playing Spangled, tempers flared, and you really get to see some of this old school ultimate. And these girls, it's mixed. There's no quit in them. They are players who have been awesome for decades for the most part. There are some rookies and young players, not young humans, but players with less experience that do find the sport late and make it straight into these world championships. But for the most part, it is legends, and I will always support watching these legends play because you learn their stories. You kind of can go back and check out games where Husak or Lugsden or some of these legends, Stone and Arlie Stern, have played national championship games and the biggest games, world championship games, biggest games on earth. So it's a pretty great reason to watch. And as I said, we love being ULTI.TV and we're covering stuff. ULTI World has got coverage. You get stuff from the World Games now. You go back 10 years, you go back 20 years. Okay, there's a bit of ULTI Village. There was a bit of Sky. There's, snippets, but so much of the greatest games ever played were not filmed. There's no record of it. So it's a great way to kind of remember these people, recognize the trails that they blazed, and get to see them in their swan songs and with their silver linings.
I was a little starstruck to see Don Fontanet at the last Great Grandmasters. There are truly some legends in this division. Last year, of course, Spangled beat Team Finland in the final. I think it was closer than we kind of expected that game to be. We thought that Spangled would be dominant, but it ended up as a 11-9 in that game. Finland very good, and when you actually get to the top level of this tournament, offenses are pretty clean. Like, if it's not blowing a gale, if it's not ridiculous beach weather, offenses hold, so it keeps the games nice and close. Yeah, Steph, I love the appreciation we get from the Great Grandmasters for covering this event, so super happy to be there again. Do you have any kind of read on which teams might be looking to be the favorites this year?
You can't look past Spangled. I know, the way I build a team is the way I know Peter Nia builds a team nowadays. He starts from the top. He makes sure he's got the best pieces in place. No stone unturned. Stoney, he'll be there. So Spangled, I expect to be in a semifinal position or better. I think all the American teams you got to look out for. Notsuo will be there. Chicken Packs will be there. If you look a little further down, because Rundown have won it or have been in the semifinal. They were in the final against Notsuo last time, and now because of how many U.S. teams can be in there, come in as a 17 seed, but could definitely still win it. Hurt has been the best Canadian team. The two Nordics, back in the day, it was the Swedes and the Finns that were at the top of the heap and pushed the U.S. In the late 90s and early 2000s before the Canadians really showed up and had an era of dominance. So Team Finland and the Rainbow Warriors, I expect to be up at the top. After that, I don't know. Could we see, Blue Zone and the Dutch-Belgian kind of connection? Jeroen Kuipers runs that one. I didn't say that name right, but Jeroen Oort's been on that, and Glenn Nolf has played on that in the past. The French Jets team, they've been strong and good. Tough to say. I'll give a full. You want to give a full rundown of the teams, Noah?
Nah, you go for it, Steph.
Okay, so you got Spangled in 1, Finland 2, Rainbow Warriors 3, that's Sweden, Hurt, Canada in 4, Natsuo, which is Houston backwards, is in 5th, Chicken Packs, another U.S. team, in 6th. 7 is Sunset Crew from Switzerland, 8 Flash from GB, 9 Mix from Germany. That is a sexpensive team. They will likely be good too. Carbone, aka Jets from France, and 10 Kui down under. That's a John Greenfield team. It's Stefan Goeke is organizing it, but I call it a Greenie team if Greenie's on it. 12, the imaginary land of Courier Island. 13, Blue Zone, Netherlands. 14, Saladitos, España. 15, Young Legends, Germany. That's Rue Vidal, so they have been in semis not too long ago as well, unless he ends up playing Sexpensive. Mountain Beachers, another Swiss team by Ackerman. Rundown, U.S. Solid Gold with OLD and capitals. Canadian team. East Side Story, German team, and Uncle John's Band, a Grateful Dead song from the Courier Islands, the second Courier team. And that said, there are 8 on the waiting list too. I think that's been everything set in stone now, a week away. But that is the rundown of the Wugamabuk, or
I have to say that
Greatest Beach, as it's called.
These legends are significantly better at naming teams than I think you get at the senior level right now, or you would get at the junior level. Like they're
better in a sense that they're funny and quirky. I don't think a lot of these names would fly with the youth and the joking around. The ultimate is so serious, which I kind of like. I'm not gonna lie. I like that the sport is gaining maturity in that. But this is old school ultimate mentality, the way they name these teams.
Yeah, so someone's gonna tell Husak, that play last year with the.
Well, we'll have to line that one up
away.
next week, because next Wednesday it starts on Thursday or Wednesday. Yeah, on Thursday. So we'll do the show on Wednesday.
It starts Wednesday.
It does start Wednesday.
Because we're gonna stream Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then
Saturday.
finals on Saturday.
And of course, this happens. Friday, Saturday will be overlap with EUCF. Of course, you can go watch that over on Solid Sport. We're going to have a keen eye on that. We'll be watching from Sardinia in our downtime. Next week's show will be pretty much dedicated entirely to EUCF, and we will give a full breakdown to who we think is going to shine, who we think are going to take it, our thoughts and 2 cents on EUCF. And Noah, we made a promise last week that we were going to have a follow-up on UK Nats, didn't we? What were we going to do?
We're going to name our best lines from the tournament, 7 for Open and Women's, and 8 for the Mixed Division. If we have that graphic, we can put it on now. But
what division you want to start in, No?
Let's start in the Women's Division. So we have Ellie Taylor, Fee Kwon, Freya Lenton, and Han Booth, all from Iceni. We have Natalie Oldfield from Bristol, and we have Heather Gibson and Marina Symington from Spice.
Yeah, no, it was. I just want to run down our criteria one more time, since this is kind of a new thing we're doing. This is the best players we saw on stream. I did see a couple games that were not streamed, so as did you. There's definitely rumor mill, people talking about this and that and who was awesome and who wasn't, and we do our best to ignore that. We kind of go back, we check stats, we remember what we saw on stream, and we give it that way. I will say, Jamie Rabbits, I still will always call him Rabbits, the Hopper, was down here in Nice last week, and I had a good chat with him about the fact that I was making this list, and I was like, who do you think your best players on the team are? And I kind of like, shut off a couple of these names, and he's like, well, Ellie Taylor's name has to be on that list. Like, she is the workhorse. She does so much for this team, has to be on your list. And I was like, okay, yes, I don't know how I didn't, that wasn't the first name out of my mouth. As soon as I went back and looked at stats and stuff, I was like, oh, yeah, Ellie Taylor is a wrecking ball for other teams, but an absolute weapon of a player. Freya Lenton was a name that I was not overly familiar with prior to the tournament, but really turned heads, including mine, with her goal-scoring ability to stretch the field. Good out of hand, too. And I'll say about Heather Gibson, the other Gibson sibling gets a lot of the attention, Kate Gibson, justifiably so. Kate Gibson didn't play in the stream game against Horizon. She was resting for the bigger games. And Heather Gibson in that game really stepped up and was awesome. Just a reset, nonstop reset, hitting the button, quick off the first step. Very fun to watch play.
Yeah, I think we see a few players in here like Lenton, Steph, who are on the taller side, who in the windier conditions we saw on the Sunday can pull down those kind of errant shots into the end zone. And shall we move on to the Open division, see if that trend continues, Steph?
Yeah, let's check out the Open. Of course, we had a whole bunch of Iceni in the women division. They dominated. I think we're going to see a couple Clapham players on this Open list we put together. Let's get it up there, Grabco. But not entirely. Our first three on that list are non-Claphamites, and at the very bottom too. But you got Ben Tempest, Andrew Sweetnam, Chris Allen, and Seb Allen are the non-Claphamites. We've got basically Chevron and Bristol. And then Conrad Wilson, Tom Abrams, and Josh Briggs round things out. I think we discussed, we went back and forth. You probably could have squeezed in another couple of Clapham players on this because of the fact they won. But I think also they were very good at playing a well-distributed, even attack kind of game. They all did a bit of everything. Conrad had the greatest stat sheet for sure for the Bullfrogs.
He also had a beautiful layout D
yes.
in the final. After getting layout blocked earlier in the game in the second half, got one back and got a lovely layout D. I think he was perhaps the best player in that final across both teams, really working both directions of the field.
Yeah.
I thought Abrams... Go ahead, Steph.
No, please.
I thought Abrams was super good anytime he was tested vertically. There was a play where he boxed out a Chevy attacker for the block.
Seb Allen.
Yes, yeah, and
awesome.
then who else do you want but to go the other way and help you marshal an upwind offense attack?
Yeah. You get the veteran, the rock steady, handler. How many years has he been ushering the offense? Now he's off ushering the D-line offense. That's just like what a blessing to be able to have that. Seb Allen had a good final, maybe not his best game, but he had a great game against Smog earlier, and that's why he makes it. Chris Allen for Bristol. We did not see the game to go, but the game that they got on stream, Chris Allen was lights out. Every time he went deep, they targeted him. And he was awesome. I think a big with great potential. First things first, I see him as a target, as a receiver, but didn't make any mistakes with disc in hand. Got the job done and kept it safe and conservative when he needed to. Usually quick dishes to get it back and put himself back in scoring positions if he wasn't catching in the end zone.
And I'm hoping that he can bring us some more Cheeky Boys content from Limerick. Worlds, as well as he brought us so so well from the Gold Coast. Definitely had to acknowledge a Bristol name on that list. And I'll finally talk about Ben Tempest, who made a big impact in the cutting space for Chevy. I think he'd been maybe playing like training squad or breaking into the Chevy team last year. He's really got taken a big role in that squad now, and is gaining receiving yards all over the field. Shall we have a look at the mixed list?
Let's check out the mixed list here. So, Deep Space get away with a universe point win in that one against Reading. We did not see much else in the mixed division. We had one game from BN1 and Heck, and otherwise we saw one game. So a lot of Deep Space and Reading on here. Jack and Sarah Halkyard, Ben Phipps, Arjun Kumar, Sam Wilson, Becky Thompson, Ruth Caudron, and Hannah Sloan. Why don't you take us away on this one, Nono?
Yeah, there's plenty of Deep Space, and it's a little harsh to Reading, you have to say, because they did get all the way to Universe Point, but because they did, we saw Deep Space stack the lines from 12-9 to get it back to 13-12. Players like Jack Halkyard, Sarah Halkyard, Ruth Caudron, Hannah Sloan, Ben Phipps, they all played massive roles in that. I think some highlights were Sarah Halkyard got a massive layout D in that game, and then she threw the huck to Stephen Millard for a crucial upwind break. Just great touch on that throw. Jack Halkyard played all six of the last 6 points in that game. It kept calling his number, and is kind of doing stuff all the way around the field. Steph is receiving deep, like with the final score for Andrew Turner. Also throwing deep. One of those throws deep was to Ruth Caudron, who chucked the body, and a clip we've got up on ULTI.TV. That throw before was Hannah Sloan, and she's obviously had a season in the Gold Coast with GB. Such a crucial O-line player for this Deep Space side, and a new O-line weapon that they have is Ben Phipps, who is playing like fantastically in the big man role. Obviously he can catch it deep, but players are backing him, so he's often chunking away big unders. Do you want to talk to me a bit more about those Reading names and those one Heck name, Arjun Kumar, who we added to the list?
Yeah, well, Ben Phipps, by the way, 3 goals and an assist to his name. And Becky Thompson, 3 assists and 2 goals for her game. I thought she was everywhere. She had great connection with Andy Lewis in the handler space, but was really bouncing around. We talked about this the week after UK Nats. But I think she really, really was the center of the backfield for Reading and put them in a position to win the game. Sam Wilson, 2 goals, 3 assists. Not so much the back. I mean, a bit more initiating, coming out of the stack a little bit more, but coming out and then staying in, handling space when necessary. A great utility player, showing speed and big game prowess, being able to pull the trigger and get the job done, and being able to have the safe hands in the end zone and assure those goals come through. Putting them in as good of a position as they could have been to take that game. I mean, let
me talk about our final player on this list.
Yeah, Arjun Kumar. I want to hear what your take on him, because you played against him. I did. I was not on the mic on that game. I took a walk, so I only saw bits and pieces of that game. So I want to hear your take on Arjun Kumar.
I think he was man of the match of the game, and we had to get someone in there. I think. Heck had our number last year, and they had our number this year as well. And I think, and Arjun's a player who I believe didn't play in that 2024 game. If he did, he didn't make huge impact to me in that game that he did this time. It was an upwind downwind game, and I thought that he in particular threw just really, really well through backhand, specifically upwind backhand hucks that we'd come out in points of playing downwind defense, really thinking that this is our opportunity to break, and he'd just hang on and manage to get the upwind score, and then that puts your O-line in such a difficult position. So for being able to find ways to play really aggressively on the upwind, I think he was man of the match in that game and made our Elite 8 hit stuff.
Nice. Love the take, Noah. Love doing business with you here on our new implement to the show and to tournaments that we stream. That's going to do it for this week's show. Thank you all for joining us. Make sure you like and subscribe and do all those wonderful things. We'll be back next week with an EUCF preview and a little bit more about WGG MBUCC. Make sure you're there for it. Thanks to Levke for joining in, for Grabco on the ones and twos, for my man, Noah Brinkworth. I've been Stefan Rapazzo. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you all next time.